DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today I want to talk for your building your brand. Those of you who are brand builders or aspiring to build a brand, or you have a brand and you want to get it to a higher level, is not quite where you want it to be yet. There's a quick story I want to tell you. There's a person I was talking to a while back. They had made a post on Instagram or something like that, and they're trying to build their audience. And this actually happened in many different spaces. Somebody will post something on Instagram and say, well, you know, it only got 15 likes, so I'm going to take it down because my brand's not big enough yet. I don't have a big enough audience yet. Or somebody will post a video on YouTube, say it only got 15 views or 100 views, or not enough views for what they think. Or they wrote a blog post and only this many people came to their website. Or they got an email list and they only have this many subscribers. Basically belittling what they've done and saying, well, there's no point in doing it because I only have this small amount of followers, subscribers, readers, viewers, buyers, customers, whatever it is they're after. They don't have as many as they think they should, followers, whatever. Today I want to give you 3 principles for you to understand about building your brand from the ground up, even if your audience is small or even completely non-existent right now. Point number 1 is this, and it goes straight to the anecdote that I just told you that I've heard from many people in many different spaces, is never belittle your accomplishment, no matter how small that accomplishment is, because the way that we all know the law of karma is that the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So if you have a small achievement and you belittle that achievement as if it's nothing, like, oh, I didn't do anything, I only got 1 customer, only 10 people subscribed to my list, only 3 people read my book, or whatever it is, when you belittle that little accomplishment, how do you think the big accomplishment's ever going to show up? If you can't do the little jobs, like at work, if somebody gives you a small job and you can't do that, how you think you'll ever graduate to doing a big job? You probably never will, because nobody's going to give you a bigger job. You can't even do the right thing with the small job. So it's the same thing with building your audience. If you got 3 fans, then be happy that you got 3 fans. Do great with your 3, then eventually you'll have 4. And eventually you'll have 10. And eventually you'll have 20. And you build up that way. You don't have to go from 0 to 1 million, maybe like somebody that you saw or you heard or you think somebody did that. But a lot of times that's not even the case. So never belittle the position that you have, because if you belittle the position you're in because you think it's too small, you'll never get to a bigger position than that, because you can't even appreciate where you are. And we know energy. The energy you put out is the energy you get back. You put out energy of, I don't appreciate this much. How are you ever going to go to this much or this much or this much or this much? You probably can't. Point number 2. As you're building an audience of any size, serve the few to earn your right to serve the many. So if you have an audience of 30 people, 30 subscribers, 30 followers, give the best you can give to those 30 people, or those 5 people, or those 15, or those 2,000. Give the best you can give to them, and what they're going to do is tell people about you. If they like what you're doing, they're going to say, yo, somebody else needs to watch this. Let me tweet this out. Let me put this on my website. Let me tell one of my friends about it. Now, next time it's going to be 35 people. And the next time it'll be 60. And the next time it'll be 100. That's the way that you grow an audience. You might have to do it step by step. You might not be able to just shoot up out of a cannon and just go to 1 million on the first day, again, as you might think some other people have. I once heard 50 Cent tell the story that when he was first coming out, after his mixtapes was coming out, before his album came out, he was talking to one of his associates, and he had a show coming up, and he didn't have his album out yet. He had some buzz, but he didn't have an album out yet. And one of his associates said to 50, like, yo, what if we do this show and only 10 people show up to the show? Because they had no idea how many people would come. What if only 10 people come to the show, 50? What we gonna do? And 50 said, yo, if 10 people come to the show, we gonna give those 10 people the best show that they ever had in their lives. And then the next time we do a show here, it'll be 20 people. And then the next time it'll be 200, and the next time it'll be more. So you understand, I've used this analogy several times already in this video, is that when you have a small audience or a small opportunity or a small anything, do the best you can with that small thing so that you can build it up to a bigger thing. You earn your right to level up to a higher position, a higher position, and a higher position in anything that you do. When I wanted to become a professional speaker, I started out, I would just send an email to random events that I saw. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any rhyme or reason or any type of process, but I reached out to a few people. Was kind of ignoring me. I had a then I started having conversations with a couple people. That didn't really work out. Then finally someone said, hey, you could come here, you could speak for free. And I did that. Then I joined Toastmasters, and I started doing speeches at Toastmasters, and I proved myself there. And eventually I moved on. I did a TED Talk. Then I did another one. Then I did another one. Then I did another one. Then I started doing conferences where they said, well, look, you can apply, and people chose me. I went and spoke, didn't even get paid for some of them. Then after I start proving myself at these free events, people will call me back from the free event and say, yo, come back to this event, and this time we'll pay you for it. and then next time we'll pay you. And then people start calling me for conferences and said, we'll pay you off up front. You ain't even gotta do nothing for free to prove yourself, because you've already proven yourself. And then somebody offered me a book deal, and then I did a book off a speech that I did at a conference. So I'm telling you that to not to impress you, but to impress upon you. When you start with a small opportunity and prove yourself with that small opportunity, it will eventually become a bigger one, but you can't be impatient about it. And this process that I'm talking about, my book, Work on Your Game, just came out in 2019. I started wanting to do professional speaking in 2014. That was a 5-year process. And not to say that that's the reason I started so I could write a book, because I could put out a book myself. But the whole point that I'm making here is I went from calling people asking could I come speak for free and being ignored, to people calling me and saying we'll pay you to come speak. Will you do it? Yes or no? So that's building it up. But of course you got to have a game to do that. And point number 3, as you are building your audience, so what we talked about already is not belittling the position that you're in. And the second one is respecting the fact that you have an audience and giving the best that you can. The third point, imagine you walked into a room. Let's say you were hosting a meetup or an event, or you had a birthday party or some celebration of yourself, whatever you were doing, some type of event. You walked into the room and there were 15 people in the room, and those 15 people were your fans. That's your whole fan base. It's just that 15 people. Now I want to ask you a question. What would you do then? Would you walk out of the room and be like, yo, fuck this, I'm not even staying here because I only got 15 fans, or this is nothing, or why would I even be excited about this little bit of fans that I got? No, of course you wouldn't do that. You would stay there and you would talk to them, you would shake their hands, you would take pictures, you show appreciation for them showing up to your event. Why? Because that 15 is the 15 who care. Those are the 15 who are paying attention. Those are the 15 who said, they raised their hand and said, yo, I want to know about what you're doing. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to see what you have to provide. And that's the way that it works in life. You start with the small job, you graduate to the bigger job. If you are not willing to respect the small audience that you have, then what do you think that small audience is going to think about you? They're like, yo, he don't even respect the fact that we're here. He don't even, he's not even appreciative of the fact that we showed up, as if since it's only 15 of us, like we don't matter. Listen, an audience of 1 million people is 1 million individual one-persons added up together in one space. Just like an audience of 15 people is an audience of 15 individual one-persons added up into one space. So the same way that you serve that 15 is the same way you would serve that million. So if you can't show respect to the 15, that small audience, how you think you'll ever graduate to a bigger one? The answer is you won't. So let's recap the topics, the point that I made in this topic here, which is 15 being more than 0, respecting the fact that you have an audience, even if that audience isn't the size that you want it to be. Point number 1, never belittle your position. Never belittle your accomplishments, even if it's a small accomplishment. Respect the fact that you accomplished something, because then you can graduate to something bigger. Number 2, you earn your right with a small audience to graduate to a bigger audience. If you were a musician, I mean, think about it. You start out playing a small little place. Maybe you had to pay just to even get on the stage, but you do it. Then eventually maybe you do an open mic. Then eventually maybe they invite you to do something for free. Then eventually they start paying you for it. And then eventually you have your own audience. You can put on your own event and you do your own tour and do your own shows, and you own the whole situation. But you graduate and earn your right to start with a small audience. You earn your right up to a bigger audience. And number 3, if you walk into a room and there were 15 people there and they were all your fans, and that was 100% of your fan base, would you just walk out and say, well, fuck this, my fan base is too small? Of course you wouldn't do that. You would show respect to those people, shake their hands, take pictures with them, appreciate them, because they're the people who care. They're the people who give a damn. So why would you disrespect them, even if your audience, again, and it's the same thing you should do on your Instagram or your YouTube or your website or your email list or your customer list for a product that you put out. You only got one person that bought it, then give that one person the best experience they could possibly get. They're going to tell somebody else about that experience, and they'll bring your second customer, and they'll bring the 4th and 5th and the 800th customer. But you got to respect the fact that you're somewhere rather than being nowhere. Slow motion, as they say, is better than no motion. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. In the game group, you want to learn about building a business, building your brand, building it up from 0 to whatever you want to get it to. And these principles, the mindset principles behind it, not just the mindset, but also the strategies and the processes and the systems behind building an audience and building it strategically in different platforms, whether it be video, audio, written. I've done all those things. I teach it to you in the game group. The link to the game group, get all the information, how it works and everything, is a membership. Is down here in the video description. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. Nobody out there needs more information. What you need these days is a strategy, frameworks, processes, how to actually take all the information that's out there, all the knowledge and content that's out there, make sense of it, and actually produce a result, a tangible result. That's why I created the Game Group. It is my membership site where you will get tangible results for specific areas: business, personal development, basketball skill, and professional basketball. Choose your area of focus, and we have targeted, specified outcomes every single month, along with live trainings, your ability to contact me, have your work critiqued by me, and a whole lot of other stuff. The link and all the information is down in the description at dreallday.com/membership. Get in the Game Group if you're ready to get some results and not just a whole bunch of information. Let's do it. Work on your game.